think that's anybody that's been able to have a chance to watch us or maybe listen to our team talk has got hopefully within our organization they talk about the experience that we have coming back. And I look at the program that Coach Pittman is building and put in place. The super seniors that came back, I'm just talking specifically on the defensive side, how valuable that is for us. And because they're, a year older, another year in the system, everyone speaking the same language. And then, our room got older, and with that experience, I wouldn't trade the experience for anything. And not to confuse last year with, having great success. I'm not saying that, but those guys are able to go out and we make a call and they remember the checks within that call. It wasn't day one teaching, just like they'd never heard it before. So valuable. And we've able to, throughout the course of, I think today was practice 12, and we've got real competition at a lot of spots. And, we got to get that kind of narrowed down here in the next few days as we get in preparation for Rice. But I'm excited about the leadership that we have, not only in the senior class, but the guys that have now been in the program for a year.
And also with, I guess, that experience, you added some guys like Markel Utsey and Trey Williams, John Ridgway. How was it with specifically Utsey and Williams, bringing those guys back from your relationships with them at Missouri?
Yeah, I think some of there's some similarities on maybe calls and variations of those calls on how that system was. So it's benefited them in the ability to pick it up a little bit quicker. John has been, maybe more of a surprise to me just because he came in and learned everything like a true freshman, and he hasn't been here that long. So to see what he's done now through, the short time that we've been in camp has been super impressed with his knowledge base, his football IQ, and then the ability not only to take it from the meeting room, but then out and effectively do it, in the tempo that we play with.
Hey, Barry, how you doing?
Good.
Last year you had some good defensive linemen, probably not enough of them to really do what you want to do, depending on who you were playing. How do you feel about the depth there, and just how much better is it than a year ago?
Well, we sure missed John Marshall, and so he had a sack the other night. So that was so awesome to see him with the big play and on that stage. I was proud of that. And then you look at, the guys that we have coming back, and like I mentioned to Trey about there's competition at every spot, and I don't really know that we had that last year. And I think that's made us better collectively as a defensive unit. And then you look at the ability to play a number of guys up front, whether you're in an odd front or an even or some different variations of that. When guys have experience and they're able to play not only the 5 technique or a 3 or a shade, they're also able to play a rush end. There's a lot of guys that have the ability to play a number of spots for us, and that helps you, because if you can go in and out of different personnel groupings, as you see offensively, if you can match up with that with the same people on the field, then that helps us defensively a great deal.
Zach Williams, how have you seen him progress from last year to this year? What are your expectations?
Who's that? I'm sorry about
Zach Williams.
Oh, man, he is, you look at the work that our entire team did while they were in the weight room in the off-season program with Jamil and his staff, and physically we look like a different group, not only speed and quickness, but mental toughness. And, that happens in the weight room. That I've used, the saying about it, all those things happen, way beyond when the lights are on. And there's a lot of work that this team has done in the last year to get where we are today. And we've still got a long ways to go, but Zach Williams specifically, he physically looks so much different, but also he's able to play fast because, again, another year in the system. I think that gets minimized, unfortunately, on the number of changes that guys have been through, different calls, different terminology, all those different things. Anytime that there's consistency, then you ought to be able to play a little bit faster. And that's one case with Zach. He's certainly able to do that now. No, I think, Kendall and the offensive staff, they've got our number plenty of times as well throughout practice. And, there's a lot of talented guys on that side of the ball that we're having to defend. I think the urgency on how you start practice really can set the tone on how you're going to carry out throughout the day. And that's something that we realized as a staff. I mean, we've got to get off to a fast start. There were times last year that we didn't. So you always work on things that you need to get better on. And that was one of us for our entire program on getting started fast. So, there's times offensively that we're going to see throughout the year, the different pace of play, whether it's, extra tempo or, the different things that go along with that. So I think it's been great for us, and we'll continue to work that. And hopefully once we see it in the real arena, it won't be a surprise for us.
Sorry to take you back to last year, too. Overall thoughts on defense from last year. You set the template for a couple of teams, and then there's a couple of games you didn't finish. What did you think last year?
Well, I thought that there were times that we did some really good things defensively. There are also times that we were, I didn't do a good enough job on getting us in position to win the close game. We really, there's 3 games that will forever stick out in not being able to finish those games when we had an opportunity to do it. So that's growing in how you coach, how you teach, how you learn, and then how you ultimately go execute. So, those things are teachable moments, and we try to continue to move the bar forward. And, those are situations that you can spend time in the off season, and there's always a reason why. And so you try to get those answers and then put them into play.
And just real quick, the year 2, understand, how are y'all better? Why are y'all better this year?
I think, we're better because we've got a wonderful head coach that lays out a plan for us to go execute. And there's not any gray area on what it should look like, what it should be. He's a tremendous leader. He cares so much for our student athletes, and we're able to grow and be ourselves in this program. And our kids understand the openness, the honesty, and the transparency that he has, and ultimately what is important to our team and our program on how to go play. And our guys have bought into that. They're hungry to be good, and they're hungry to have success. We're excited about 16 days out on having an opportunity to go kick it off. Yeah, he's very, very much more consistent in every area. And, he's got tremendous athletic ability. He's understanding where he fits in the scheme, how to play the different variations of how we're calling our coverage concepts, and, either man or zone. And for, 12 practices, he's been as consistent and has made as many plays as anybody on the field. Very proud of him. Yeah. Yeah, I think a great deal, Trey, where you look at his quickness, to me, has improved so much. And that, again, has to do with Jamil and his staff, but also the buy-in of Joe and the way that he's approached and attacked this offseason. He's running extremely well. He's got great quickness, and he's a very, very gifted player. Yeah, you look at that position, those positions, defensive line in our conference. It's so important to have, defensively, you better build it up front, because if you can't and you're struggling in that area, it exposes everything else pretty quickly. So I am so excited about the guys that we have coming back. Eric Gregory's had a great camp. Dorian Gerald's had a great camp. Torian Carter continues to move up. Isaiah Nichols, those guys, they have, from where we left off last year to where we are today, they look like different players in a good way. And then the addition of the 3 that you mentioned, they do have experience. They've got, game day in the arena experience, and that helps so much. And they also can be, to an extent, they can be mentors to some of the younger guys in that room, and they understand not only on game day, but practice habits, how to prepare, all the things that go along with that at a very high level. Yeah, I mean, that opens things up for you a little bit. I mean, just look at for me, the defenses I've been involved with, we've always, been able to base out of a 4 down. And I think the LSU game last year, we had 5 total defensive linemen available for the game. That it gets pretty thin quick. So there are opportunities now that we can maybe be a little more versatile. And as long as it doesn't matter what I know or the coaching staff knows, we've got to be great teachers and get those guys in position to be able to play fast. Yeah, he's got great quickness and he plays with tremendous leverage. And those are 2 qualities that I've seen now from when he was in high school to now as a 5th-year senior. And he's got a great competitive spirit about him. He's a little bit quiet from a leadership standpoint, but everybody leads in different ways. He doesn't have to be a talker. He shows in the way that he plays and his habits and the way that he practices the way it's supposed to be done. Yeah, he has been, we've been together now for quite a while. We've been through battles together, and the way that he has coached, and he understands the system and the scheme, and don't tell him too much. He was a great player, but he can't handle that. So don't brag on him too much. But he was a great, and it wasn't because he was such a great athlete but he had some athletic skills, but he was a great player in this conference because he prepared, he understood the scheme, and he played with tremendous grit. Those things, I believe, in playing the linebacker position. Yes, you've got to have qualities physically on how to play that spot, but also if you will be really, really invested in how to play that position, you can have success. And he's been able to, in short time, get those guys in the right spots playing fast. And he's got a really good group to work with as well. Well, I think Ladarius has got, great straight line and short area quickness, speed I'm talking about. You look at his cover skills, he's long, he's got, really good change of direction and all the things that we're looking for that position. It's a battle and still will be for the next few days. And my guess it will be throughout the season. Hudson Clark continues to make plays and he understands on how important that position is. And Buster has had a great camp. But you look at also Devin Bush, you look at the guys that maybe didn't play as much last year, Kyrie Johnson, there's a Nick Turner, those 3 guys, we're no way in the world going to be able to get through the season with just 3 corners. That I wish we would be that lucky, but it's not going to happen. So I learned last year, and we cross-trained everybody from field corner to boundary corner to all 3 safety positions, in that scheme to nickel, and that really proved to help us last year. We've taken the same approach this year. Yeah, athletically, there's not a lot of guys that can go from safety to play corner, skill set wise, and how we're playing it. Slush is one of them. He's had a really good camp, and I know I've said that, kind of on repeat, but I'm excited about what our guys have done, and he's one of them. He is able to give us some versatility. I really think he could play all 5 spots for us, and he has spent more time at the safety position through fall camp, but also we've got him some corner work as well, and he's a guy that can help us in a number of spots. Every linebacker we've had in here, me and Michael has said more depth this year. We didn't see it last year. Is there more depth? Well, absolutely. Look at Dede Edwards and Andrew Parker, and then the 3 that you mentioned. Chris Paul's really making a push. So there's a number of guys that, I don't know that all of those guys I mentioned are game ready yet, but also they're really close. So my challenge for our staff defensively and our team is, we've got another push here to make before we're really ready to go kick it off. And our guys understand the urgency of what we need to do to get there. But, there's real competition, and, again, I think you look at Hayden, you look at Grant, you look at Bumper, Edie, Andrew Parker, there's Woodard, there's guys that are going to roll in and play. And you look at the number of snaps that you play throughout a game with kicking involved in all those things. Well, is Grant Morgan at play number 47? Is that level? Is it something that we need to get him a break and get somebody else in the game? And those guys, your quote unquote twos, they better be game ready, because you're a play away from being the full-time starter. So Mike's done a nice job with those guys. And again, I think another year in the system and understanding the terminology and how they need to play, but also the way that the fits are now with the defensive line and the job that Coach Ashley's done up front with those guys. They understand it. They're able to play a little faster. I think, we've done a rotation with really all three of those guys. If we had to name a starter today, I'd list three of them, because I don't know how we, depend on what personnel package we'd start on how, what two guys would run out there. Yeah, I think Trey has shown some things in his pass rush, but also from the time that I had him before until now, he's become an everyday or an every down player, which is a great benefit for us. There were times that he was a third down pass rush specialist, and that's not the case. He's an every down player now. Credit to him and the work that he's done. Bob, the question about the scrimmage, I think you look at, I'm still looking for more consistency. It was a long scrimmage, and the mental focus that it takes to play at the standard that we want to play, it's hard to do. So you've got to, you may be in for a series, 3 series, and then you're off for 3. Well, you may be off, but you better be dialed in, because any moment your number is going to get called. And we tried to go as closely to a game as we can. And that will be the challenge for us defensively on Saturday is, the way that a drive goes. We want to start fast. We want to focus on third downs. We want to try to find ways to get off the field, but also, you're out for a couple of plays and then you got to get locked back in and go. That's something that you only get good at doing by doing, and that's, you've got to work at it. And then this becomes in your DNA. You can go play. It doesn't matter when, where, or what time it is. It was a solid day, and he's exactly right. To me, it was our most physical day of camp so far, and the guys responded. It was a competitive battle. I'm excited to go dig into the video to see. I think I know what I saw on the field, but really want to back that up. And I thought that there was great competition. You go offense versus defense, and then the competition battles that we've got going in at each position. The great thing right now about one of the great things, Coach Pittman puts the plan together, he presents it, and then our guys have just gone and done it, and they have done absolutely everything that we've asked from them, and that's a lot of fun, and it's a good group to be a part of. He's had a great camp, and he's made a lot of plays. He is also really competitive, and he's put last year behind. He understands the expectations. He needs to play better than he did last year, and we all do. I've got to coach better, and every player that played last year, they've got to up their game. And it's important to him. He wants to be the best that there is at that position, and he's got the mindset and the work ethic to go attack it every day. I do now. We've got a few more days to put some things together, but they've worked extremely hard. The things that they continue to work, it's so important on how they tie together on our coverage and the ability to over communicate and understand pre-snap on how to play certain things. They've really grown up. I'm excited about what they've done. Well, number one, I'm thankful to be here and blessed to be here. This is a wonderful place. I couldn't think of a better person to work for than Sam Pittman and Hunter Yurachek. And I understand how special Arkansas is. And I understand what the Razorback brand means. And it means something to me and my family. And we've started building something, in my opinion, that's very, very special. And I'm thankful that I've got another chance to be around this team and these young men and represent this great state.